So those kind of infrastructure investments are there to help reduce flood risk for the residents of Christchurch. There's also significant investment going on through the SCIRT program. They've constructed or repaired or replaced about 36 kilometres of stormwater piping and rebuilt 4 pump stations, and that's only part of what they have planned. So that SCIRT work is making good progress. It's really focused on underground stormwater infrastructure. And other sort of things that the Land Drainage Recovery Program is coming up with is examples of the Dudley Creek scheme, for example, proposing stream widening and gravity bypasses, which is currently out to consultation now. And if anyone has any real burning questions about the Dudley Creek, we've got a drop-in session this Saturday at the Shirley Library, so feel free to come along. We'll be there for a few hours. And those sort of schemes have to deal with the existing condition. Here are some photos of the Avon River in the March event. And these sort of large infrastructure investments are targeted at reducing the number of floor levels of residents at risk through a range of different size or magnitude events. And this is in the current consultation document looking at different options and for the Dudley catchment. And it just gives some insight into the sort of magnitude and scale of some of the works that are currently proposed and will be coming up through the Land Drainage Recovery Program with time as it continues. It's quite a long program. It's 30 years it's funded through the LTP presently. So that's sort of things that are going on in infrastructure. I'm going to hand over to Helen now to talk about more the policy sort of response that Council's undertaking.
So one of the programs that's on at the moment, and some of you may have been involved in, is we are reviewing our district plan. So that is where we control land use to try and reduce the risk and impact of flooding across the whole community. So we also work within the framework of the Building Act, and in terms of everyday interactions with councils, you'll mostly come across us in the flood context if you are applying for a permit to put up a new house and your floor level will be set above the level of the 1 in 50 flood, or if you need a resource consent and you're within one of the flood management areas across the city, then your floor level needs to be set above the level of the 1 in 200 flood. Now, the Building Act also has the possibility of when a property is assessed, if the flood risk is particularly high, there may be a hazard notice put on the house. So there are some options there as well in terms of dealing with that, and they are largely around raising the floor levels and dealing with the flooding to land. And those issues and those options are property specific. So if you have any questions about that, it's best to talk directly to our building consent people about the individual properties. In terms of general information that we provide to assist people in working out what new floor levels should be for rebuilds or for new houses anywhere in the city, we do provide information through the floor level viewer. So if you go on our website and just put in floor level into the search function, this website will come up and you can access for any individual property what the land level is and what the floor level would be depending on whether it needs to meet the Building Act or the Resource Management Act requirements. So that's a very well used website for people who are undertaking rebuilds. Now, in terms of making some changes across the city through our district plan, Tom talked a little about how we've got impermeable surfaces across the city, and that's exacerbated flooding. And within our older suburbs, this is generally the performance of the drainage network. So small rainfall events, the up to a 1 in 5 year event, just disappear into the gutters and down into the stormwater network. Larger rainfall events, the water will run along the roads, and they're designed to do this. So when you see flooding on the road, this can be a very good thing because they're designed to take that sort of overflow water and keep it out of your houses. In very large events, so above a 1 in 50 year event, we do see flooding across properties in many areas of the city, And in events even greater than that, we do see water entering into houses. And it has to be said that whatever we do engineering-wise, there'll always be a bigger storm. So there will always be flooding in Christchurch, and some of the things that we're doing through our planning rules are to try and address that reality. Now, in new parts of the city, so greenfield subdivisions, we have rules that require developers to deal with water on site. So they have to deal with stormwater on site. They have to capture it, hold it, and then it's released gradually down into the streams and rivers. So our new developments are performing much, much better than our old ones. Now that's not necessarily, you know, sort of good news for the new people and bad news for people who live in the older suburbs. So when new developments come on stream, the council's also taking advantage of that and is retrofitting so that we can deal with the stormwater from the adjacent older suburbs. So this Wigram site deals with its own stormwater, but also contributes to dealing with stormwater from some of the neighbouring suburbs. Now, in terms of the flood management areas, we've renamed these floor level and fill management areas and mapped them much more extensively across the city. Now, you can't see the detail there, but the detail's all in the district planning maps, but you'll see large amounts of blue mapped across the city. And those are all of the areas that are subject to a 1 in 200 year flood event. We've gone from mapping around 12,000 of these to now mapping around 53,000 properties affected by these flood management areas. So it just shows you how many properties are low-lying in the city. Now, our new modelling, of course, reflects the updated LIDAR data